7th graders. Hey you guys, and welcome back to Math with Miss Bragg. I hope y'all are doing awesome. So today we are going to be doing multiplying and dividing fractions. Woohoo! We love fractions. We hate fractions, right? Yeah, we don't like them. They're messy. They're not fun to work with. So hopefully multiplying and dividing fractions though are better. We like those a little better because there's not so much rules to follow. So let's move on into it. Alright, so our standards and objectives, just remember that standard is what we're trying to reach. So we want to extend that prior knowledge of operations with positive rational numbers to multiply and divide all rational numbers. And then by the end of this, you'll be able to multiply fractions and you'll be able to divide fractions. Alright, so with math, we love steps, we love rules. Rules help us to know what we're supposed to do and how we can find that actual answer. So first things first, we want to multiply the numerators. After you multiply the numerators, you're going to want to multiply the denominators. And then just kind of remember the product of the numerators remain the numerator as the product of the denominator remains the denominator. So they're not going to change. If it was the top numbers, which is our numerators, they stay the top numbers, okay? And bottom numbers, which are denominators, stay our bottom numbers, okay? So if we simplify as we go, it makes the process a lot easier, and then we end up working with smaller numbers because we don't like big numbers. We like to keep them small so it's easy to work with, right? Alright, so first let's start with an easy, okay? Because this is something you've seen before, you've seen prior to this class. So let's start with example 1, which is easy. So our first step is set to multiply the numerators. So those are our top two numbers. So we're going to do 2 times 1 as our numerators, and our denominators are going to be 3 times 9. So 3 times 9. And there's nothing we can simplify because our numbers aren't the same, can't simplify. So we'll go straight across. 2 times 1 gives us 2, and 3 times 9 gives us 27. So our answer would be 2 and 27ths. And we know that can't simplify because 2 cannot go into 27 because it's not an even number. Okay, so hopefully that's kind of reminding you how we multiply fractions and just keeping those rules in your mind. Alright, let's look at example number 2. And before we start just going straight across, I want us to look to see if we can simplify anything, okay? So this kind of goes back to your last year's knowledge. Try to see if you remember, starting with the C, where you can simplify numbers that are diagonal to each other when you multiply, okay? That is called the cross product property of proportion. So long word, but it's just saying that if the same number can go into 8 and 6, which would be 2, then you can simplify. So 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 8 4 times, okay? But we also can do 77 and negative 7. What number can go into both of those? 7. So 7 goes once, and then 7 goes 11 times. But this remains negative, okay? It doesn't lose that negative sign, okay? All right, so now we're going to end up doing 3 times negative 1 as our numerators, and our denominators are going to be 11 times 4. And now we're ready to just go straight across. So we have to remember those integer rules. So positive times a negative is always going to be a negative. So negative, so 1 times 3 gives us that 3. And 4 times 11 would give us 44. So our answer would be negative 3 over 44. And of course you would want to look and see if you can simplify anything. In this case, we cannot. All right, this one, we have a negative fraction. So these are negatives. And then we have a negative fraction. So we have negative 4 over 27 times negative 3 over 8. So the first thing we want to do, we want to see if we can cross simplify. Well, we can, okay? What number goes into 4 and 8? 4 does. So 4 goes into 4 one time, and 4 goes into 8 2 times. All right, does any number go into 3 and 27? 3 does, right, okay? So 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 27 9 times. So we simplified as we went. We can't do anything now. So now we're just going to multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 would give us 1. And 9 times 2 would give us 18. Now we need to decide, is it going to be positive or negative? It's going to be positive because 2 negatives when multiplying together always gives us a positive. So same signs together always give us that positive. So our answer would be positive 118. Example 4. Example 4 looks a little different, a little scarier because now we have 3 fractions, but it's okay. We know how to do it, right? So I want to break them up. long mess, okay? I want to look at two fractions at a time. So I'm going to look at negative 1/6 times 3/10, 3 over 10. That's what I want to look at. That makes sense. I don't want to look at the rest of this, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to change my pen color so we can see what we're working with. We're going to look at the orange, all right? Can we cross simplify anything, you guys? Yes, we can cross simplify the 3 and the 6. So what goes into 3 and 6? 3 does. So 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 6 two times. All right, I'm going to rewrite this. So now we're looking at negative 1/2 times 1/10. All right, that's what we're looking at. That looks better, okay? So we do those steps, we multiply the numerators. So negative 1 times a 1, which is positive, would be negative 1. And 2 times 10 would be 20. And it would be positive because both of those are positive. All right, so now these two fractions right here gave us that negative 1 over 20. But now we're wanting to multiply this, all right? So we're going to bring this over, and we're multiplying a negative 25 over 16, okay? And that negative is attached to both. It's not just on that numerator. So if you look, or Miss Bragg made a mistake, but that negative is attached to both of them, okay? So we're ready to go. The first thing we want to do is cross simplify. So what number can go into 20 and 25? Well, they both end in a 0 to 5, so we know 5 can. So 5 goes into 20 4 times, and 5 goes into 25 5 times. And then 1 and 16, we can't simplify that. So now we're just going to go straight across. Go ahead and bring this monster down some. So I brought this monster down. Now we're ready to multiply straight across. So we're going to end up having a negative 1 times a negative 5. And on the bottom, which is the numerator, we would have a 4 times a 16. Alright, so then we multiply straight across. A negative and a negative together is always a positive when we multiply. So 1 times 5 would just be 5. And then 4 times 16 would be 64, correct. So our final answer would be 5 over 64. So we took this really long, nasty looking fraction and turned it into a cleaner one. And this is as simplified as it can be, so we're good to go. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. You get to take a break, so we are done with multiplying fractions. You will obviously review some, you will get some more extra help, but we are done. So take a break, pause this video, and then the next one will be dividing fractions. So if you're taking a break right now, you kept playing the video, or you paused it, or you fast forward, I don't know what you did, but y'all love the Apple Jacks are amazing for extra credit, so we're gonna do that again, except this time, you're gonna have to send me a message saying, chocolate ice cream's the best. All right, so keep watching Dividing Fractions. You got this, you guys. Welcome back from your break. So hopefully you had a great break. I had a great break. I ate lunch and I had my sun drops, so now I'm ready to go. We're ready to go back for some math. So now we're dividing fractions, okay? This is something you know. This is something you've learned before, so hopefully you're not too nervous right now. We got this, you guys. All right, so with dividing fractions, there's rules. There's rules for everything in math. There's those steps we have to follow. Hopefully these are some steps that are refreshers because you've learned this before. But the first thing you do is you write the reciprocal. So you write the reciprocal of the second fraction, okay? So remember, hopefully that's kind of, when we work with it, you'll be like, I remember that. And then you change the division operation to multiplication, okay? So remember, we don't divide, we multiply fractions. So we keep change flip, and then hopefully you might have been, the abbreviation would be KCF for short, and a lot of teachers would just be like, KCF, keep change flip. All right, so that's how you divide fractions, and then work the problem as multiplication, which you just finished watching, so we should be good with it. All right, let's jump on in. We have negative 10 over 4 divided by 2/9. So the first thing we want to do is we want to keep negative 10 fourths. We don't want to change it, we like it. We want to change division to multiplication, and we want to flip 2/9 to 9 over 2. Alright, so the next thing we want to do, we want to see if we can cross simplify. Well, luckily we can. We can cross simplify the 2 and the 10, and 2 goes into 2 of both times. And 2 goes into 10 5 times, but it keeps that negative. Remember, that negative cannot go away. So we would rewrite this. This is our new fraction that we are looking at. So now we just multiply straight across. So negative 5 times 9 all over 4 times 1. And negative 5 times 9 is 45. And we have one negative and one positive, so when their opposite sides multiply together, it keeps negative, and then 4 times 1 would give us 4. And we do not have to change it, so we're good to go. So your final answer is negative 45 over 4. So let's look at example number 2. Not much different from example number 1. So we keep it, so negative 3/4. We change division to multiplication, and we flip 9 halves to become 2 9ths. First thing we want to do before we overcomplicate it is we want to cross simplify. So now we have negative 1/2, because remember we have to keep that negative sign. That negative sign did not disappear, times a 1/3. Alright, so now multiply straight across. A negative and a positive will always give us a negative. 1 times 1 always gives us 1. And 2 times 3 gives us 6. So our final answer is negative 1/6. Look at example number 3. Woo! We got this though. It's not that much different, okay? First, we have to do PEMDAS, okay? We have to follow those rules. So the first thing we want to do is what's inside the parentheses. And what's inside the parentheses is multiplication. We know how to do that. We just worked with that. So we have negative 2/3 times 9 over 14. You guys, what do we like to do first? We like to simplify. So 3 and 9 can be simplified because 3 can go into both of them. It goes into 3 one time, and it goes into 9 3 times. However, we can also cross simplify this way. 2 goes into 2 and 14. So it goes 1 time, and it goes 7 times. So we're going to rewrite that so it doesn't look messy. This is what we end with, and now we just go straight across. So negative 1 times 3 would be a negative 3, and a 1 times a 7 would be a positive 7. We're going to move that negative 3 over 7 down here under the parentheses because that's where it would go. And we're dividing 7 by 15. Alright, so now we do our division rules. We're going to keep that negative 3 over 7. We're going to change division to multiplication. And we're going to flip, so we get the reciprocal of 7/15. So that would be 15 over 7. Alright, so we want to look, can we cross simplify anywhere? We can't cross simplify this time because 7 can't go into 15 and 3 can't go into 7. So that one doesn't work. So now we'll go straight across. So negative 3 times a positive 15 would give us a negative 45 because a negative times a positive is always a negative, and then the bottom would be 7 times 7, which is 49, and that is positive because both of those are positive. So our final answer would be negative 45 over 49. And it can't be simplified anymore, so we're good. This brag is falling apart. Alright, so we are done with dividing fractions. Hopefully you feel a little better. Of course, we will do more work with it in class tomorrow because today is Wednesday when you should be watching this. So we'll do more work tomorrow in class with them. If there's any questions, please email me, text me, remind me, get in contact with me, let me know where I can help you. Y'all got this. Good luck. Also, P.S. There's a video on Canvas. It has a word problem on it so you can finish this note section. So go to Canvas, go watch it, or it will be linked to the YouTube video over there somewhere. Bye!